The American West, vast, untamed, a land of endless possibility. After the Civil War, it beckoned to dreamers and schemers alike. Seeking fortune and a fresh start, they ventured into the great expanse. Among them, two groups collided: cattle barons and homesteaders. Their clash for land and dominance would ignite the range wars, forever shaping the destiny of the West. Cattle barons, hardened by years on the open range, saw the land as their own. They built empires on the backs of longhorn cattle, driving herds across thousands of miles to market. They lived by their own code, a code forged in hardship and independence. But their reign was about to be challenged. From the east, a new breed arrived: homesteaders. Families seeking a place to put down roots, to build a future. Lured by the promise of cheap land and a simpler life, they staked their claims on the open range. Little did they know, they were stepping into a powder keg. The arrival of homesteaders disrupted the cattle barons' way of life. Fences began to appear, cutting across the open range and blocking cattle trails. Water rights became a point of contention, with both sides claiming ownership. Tensions rose as each group saw the other as a threat to their livelihood and their future. For the homesteaders, the land represented hope. They endured grueling journeys, braved harsh weather, and toiled tirelessly to transform the unforgiving soil into fertile farms. Their wives and children worked alongside them, their dreams woven into every inch of land they cleared. They were determined to build a better life for themselves and their children. The cattle barons saw the homesteaders as intruders, encroaching on their domain. They had carved their ranches from the wilderness, fought off Indians and rustlers, and felt entitled to the land they had tamed. They were proud, stubborn men, accustomed to getting their way. They wouldn't give up their land without a fight. The conflict escalated quickly. Barbed wire, a new invention, became a weapon in the range wars. Homesteaders used it to protect their crops and livestock, while cattle barons saw it as a symbol of defiance, a barrier to their open range. Violence flared up across the West as both sides resorted to intimidation and bloodshed to defend what they believed was rightfully theirs. Vigilante groups emerged on both sides, dispensing their own brand of justice. Cattlemen formed associations hiring gunmen to drive homesteaders off their land. Homesteaders in turn organized into groups like the Whitecaps, using sabotage and intimidation tactics to fight back. The once peaceful plains echoed with the sounds of gunfire and the cries of the fallen. Fear and suspicion poisoned the air. Neighbors turned against each other, old friendships were shattered, and families were torn apart. The law, often outnumbered and outgunned, struggled to maintain order. The West was descending into chaos. Section 4. Bloodshed and Retribution. The Johnson County War. The Johnson County War of 1892 stands as a chilling testament to the brutality of the range wars. Cattle barons, determined to crush their opposition, hired a band of outlaws to eliminate their enemies in Johnson County, Wyoming. The ensuing violence shocked the nation, revealing the depths of hatred and desperation that fueled the conflict. The hired guns, known as the invaders, rode into Johnson County with a list of names, intending to kill anyone who opposed the cattle barons' rule. They met fierce resistance from the homesteaders, who fought back with surprising ferocity. The conflict raged for days, leaving a trail of bodies in its wake. The Johnson County War, though a victory for the homesteaders, exposed the ruthlessness of the cattle barons and the lengths to which they would go to maintain their power. It also brought the plight of the homesteaders to national attention, forcing the government to finally take action. Section 5. The closing of the frontier law arrives, leaving scars and legends. The range wars ultimately faded as the government expanded its reach into the West. The establishment of law enforcement agencies, along with the expansion of railroads and the introduction of new farming techniques, gradually brought an end to the era of open range and cattle drives. But the scars of the range wars ran deep. The conflict left a legacy of violence, resentment, and a profound sense of loss. It also helped shape the image of the American West in popular culture, romanticized in countless books, movies, and songs. The range wars may be over, but their echoes can still be felt in the windswept plains and rugged mountains of the American West. They serve as a reminder of a time when the land was wild, fortunes were won and lost on the turn of a card, and the fight for survival was a daily struggle.